Hi, I'm Susan, and this is where I make videos of cooking for my kiddo who has celiac. So first I'm showing her how to boil water, and you always have to put the top of the pot on to boil the water and season it with a whole lot of seasoning. Usually you need to use as big a pot as you can, but I'm also impatient, so yeah. All right, so now we're going to start on some chicken meatballs. This is some chicken I got on sale it's a pound of it, and we're going to use one of my favorite things for gluten-free cooking, which is these gluten-free breadcrumbs. I also sometimes use panko, and these I use on chicken tenders. I use on so many things, and they really make things not as gluten-free. No, though, they don't brown easily. So anyway, in this recipe, I use a half a cup of breadcrumbs, and it's probably the only thing that I measure now, and it's that. So then we're going to add an egg, and I'm going to crack it on the counter. And should I crack it on the counter? Maybe not. I don't know. Then I'm going to throw that away instead of putting it in the compost like I should, and realize my hands are gross and need to wash them and dry them on my shirt. It's clean. It's fine. And then we're going to add some minced onion. I wanted to add a fresh onion, but I did not want to go out and cut it up. So this is what we're doing. And I just add enough that it feels right. And I made bread today and I have flour in my butt. So that's great. Okay, so then we're going to add the Parmesan cheese, which will help because this chicken is dry. And I probably didn't add enough, but it's all I had left. So then I rinse out my Parmesan cheese container because we need to clean as we go, or else the kitchen will be even more of a disaster. Okay, it's time to add some seasoning. This is a little bit of garlic powder. I often use my hand, so you can see in your hand how much about a tablespoon is. I don't know if that's how much I added here, but nutmeg we add much less. I'm using nutmeg in these because I'm using a cream sauce, and you can use nutmeg when you're using a cream sauce. Then we add some pepper, and we add some just regular table salt. And again, using my hand to measure. I added some kosher salt here because the recipe said sea salt. And sure, kosher and table together. Maybe that makes sea salt. Then I added a little bit of this parsley, which is basically like a fresh herb, but it stays in your fridge longer. Make them into small balls. Put them on a pan with some parchment paper. And put them in the oven on 400. The recipe says 30 minutes. That feels really long, so I might take them out a little earlier and just check the temperature. All right, I'm going to make a sauce. I need 3 tablespoons of butter, which apparently I just had 3 solo tablespoons in the fridge, like I always do. While that's melting, I add the pasta. Gluten-free pasta really needs to be stirred more than other pasta before it cooks. All right, I add whatever's left in this garlic in a jar, and let that cook just for 30, 45 seconds. And then the water's boiling again on the pasta. So I'm making a roux. So this is the time you have to measure. 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, equal amounts. And the water's boiling over. That's why my stove is always a mess. So you then cook down this roux. I don't know why I showed you that here, but you cook down the roux. Obviously, I'm skipping. It cooks for a little while, and then you add a liquid. For Alfredo, you add some cream or heavy fat milk. Here, I'm adding some chicken broth. I don't know. That's about a cup. I might have added more later. You just watch it. So you stir this for a little while, let it cook, and then we're going to add some additional seasonings. This recipe called for deli mustard, didn't have that. Added ground mustard, added pepper, added salt. We always do that. And so this is where I realized that this sauce was supposed to have Parmesan. And if you remember, I used all the Parmesan. So you know what? We always have different cheese. We love cheese. And so we figure other things out. Usually if it's a cream sauce, I add a little, or cheesy sauce, I add a little bit of nutritional yeast. This was too much. And I could taste it when we ate it. So here's the goat cheese, which is what I found in the back of the fridge. Now, do my children know that I'm using goat cheese on this recipe today? No, they do not. Did they find out afterwards? No, they did not. I don't know. I'll tell them in 20 years. This is where I realized I should have cut up the goat cheese into the sauce, and I did not. I'm going to add a little bit of sour cream because it's kind of like a Swedish meatball situation, and that has sour cream. Okay, so this is where I get a fork to break up the goat cheese a little bit. I need to make sure that the fork does not touch the pan because we will scrape the pan. So I'm just using this to break up, and then I go back to my whisk, which is plastic and will not hurt the bottom of the pan. But I also can't keep it in there long because the plastic might burn. So it's a balance. All right, chicken meatballs are done. Timing actually worked out. That doesn't usually happen. Putting the meatballs in the sauce, cook those for maybe 5 minutes. I probably didn't cook them long enough because they were still kind of crunchy. Serve it over the noodles. Enjoy. And you don't know it's goat cheese.